Hello, horse players. Marco.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're taping today's show for Saturday, and we had an eventful day on Friday. Friday's card was for me. My backup picks did a lot better than my original ones. When I'm in a NHC contest online, like horse tourneys, and I have my alternate picks always winning and running second, and my top picks not hitting the board, it's frustrating. It happens to all of us, but turn the page. That's what Papa Joe used to say, or Uncle Joe. Turn the page and move on to the next day, and let's see if we can get that ROI a little bit higher.
It's definitely a day that I like to forget about. Short-term memory, just like in sports. Short-term memory. Move on.
Yeah, it's a long meet. That was the first full day we capped, and we're still getting used to the jockeys, the trainers. The surface is the surface. It's going to change a lot, especially with different weather. Like tomorrow, we're supposed to, get a little bit of rain. And I think it's going to rain tonight into tomorrow morning and then maybe level off during the day. I think the early races could be a little choppy and then it might dry out later on. I'm not sure. You're on location. Have you heard anything about the weather?
I mean, the ground is a little wet. There's some sprinkles coming down. I don't think we're going to get much. All week it's supposed to be sunny, and then just on Saturday it says 40% chance of rain. So I just don't think it's going to be a factor. But
okay.
Tomorrow morning, I'll let you know.
Well, we're going to be taping now for tomorrow, so I'm going to play it by ear. I'm going to cap it might be a little. There's going to be a little bit of give, maybe. So we'll see what that brings out. I wanted to talk about race one. Race one is we have a horse running in race one. My brother Mike, and my brother Mike is a beautiful looking horse. He's obviously a 19-time maiden here, so it's a maiden race. He was out east at Gulfstream, then he went all the way west, and he's run long on turf, short on dirt, and everything in between. I'm kind of excited about getting him back around 2 turns today. Just that I felt like he ran better going longer, and we sprinted him. He apparently has he holds his breath from what I understand. And I guess we're going to have the jockey give him a little bit of a nudge with the bottom of the stick, right in the side to release some air. And that might work. But, I have to see one. I got to see him win before I can pick him on top.
You never know. This might be the day. This is his first route race on the dirt, I believe. And it's his first time at Oaklawn. He's shown the ability to break out of the gate in a couple races. This race is there's no speed in this race whatsoever.
Right.
Besides for I think would be the pace setter is the number 8 horse is my top pick here. Mo Moves. He drops the lowest tag of his career. Should get a comfortable lead, but I'm looking for my brother Mike to sit off the hip, and eyeball him around that grandstand turn and run home. But this horse might just go gate to wire. Mo Moves number 8. Yeah,
I agree. I didn't pick it, but I agree with your synopsis of the race, and he's 4-1. is by far the fastest horse early. My brother Mike does have speed too. He's stretching out, so keep that in mind. He's going to show a lot more early zip. But you're right. Your selection's going to definitely be on the lead, and it's just how far is that one going to be able to go? I ended up on the 3 just because the greatest drop in racing. It did run for a maiden 50, but that was its best race. I did have a trip note on this horse last January here at Oaklawn. It just says wrangled at the start. Just like a lot of these Oaklawn horses, we haven't seen it since last meet. So, it ran in a maiden special weight, going 2 turns in the slop, and lost to King Russell, who ended up running in the Kentucky Derby. Didn't run well in the Derby, but ran second in the Arkansas Derby. So, when you start talking about horses that ran in the Arkansas Derby, Kentucky Derby, and this horse ran against it, and now it's landed here, and it's gelded. Yeah, it looks slow. It's a plotter. I mean, even the day it ran 3rd last year, it was 14 lengths out of it. But this is the bottom hole. So, I mean, this is second time blinkers, bottom hole, gelding. I mean, you have all these changes, and it should run the best race of its life. I do have a pick 5 ticket. I've got your 8, my 3, and of course my brother Mike on the ticket.
I like it.
Yeah.
De Luca, number 3 horse.
We'll go to race number 2. And race number 2, I think, we talked about the weather a little bit, and I think there's 2 horses that are going to like the off-going, and it's, in my opinion, the 12 and the 6. My top pick is the 12, who you also picked on top, Ian Glass. This horse is going to have to show, and I picked a couple of horses like this today. It's going to have to show that it can go 6 panels and get the job done. Most of the races. Now, even after saying that, if you dig deep into the PPs, it's run long on turf before. So I'm not worried about it. But the actual 6-panel trip, it hasn't won. But it's fast. It's drawn on the outside. It's Asmussen. And it's run well on an off track. The 6, for me, was a horse that's 2 for 2 on an off track. Both races at 6 panels, one by 4 lengths, one by 2 lengths. 2 back, it got a 74 Beyer speed figure. A number like that, in this field would be right there. Tough to beat. You landed on the 12 as well. What did you like about it?
Well, Ian Glass, he's a 9-time winner. He's pretty professional. He's got some recency racing out in Oklahoma. And when you need to get back on track, I think Asmussen at Oaklawn, he's going to get me back on track because I keep betting him when he's not winning. And when he is winning, I'm getting off him for pretty much for the 3 days here. So yeah. I'm going to start using him a little bit more. And he's dropping out of the starter series, and he's in for the $7,500 tag, which is the lowest tag of his life.
Okay.
He got his, in a claiming 10 a few races back, he had an 89 and won by 14 lengths. I just think this horse is one of the stronger contenders here. And my next pick would be the 8, Trap Valley. He's an old hard knocker with some recency, also pretty much dropping out of the starter ranks as well. But he's more of a closer, so he's going to need some pace to run into.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the 12 and the 6 on my pick 5. I just went too deep here. I just think if the track's a little bit off in the morning, at least for the first few races, one of these 2 horses are going to be are going to benefit. So, and of course, I think the 12 is going to be good value at 6-1. All right, race number 3 is a nice race. It's an optional claiming 62,000. A other than, or actually non-winners of 2. Excuse me. Purse is $142,000. And I landed on the 5. It's Ravelli. It's an Ohio bred. And they're going to try this open company here. If you saw the Lone Speed text group, I threw it out there, and Frank Mustari responded and said, yeah, not a strong field, and they're going to give it a rip. So it's not a strong field. If you look at this race, these are 3 and up, fillies and mares. And if you look at the 7, okay, it's got one crazy big number in mud at Aqueduct. And it never ran that fast before. And I think it's a bad number. Yeah, it won. Actually, it didn't even win the race. Wait a minute. I was looking at it, and it didn't even win the race. Loses by a neck and gets the biggest number of its life.
Yeah, I think that's a bad 2-1 morning line.
I just noticed that. I assumed it won that race, but it doesn't even win it. It was 5-1 that day. I don't know. I threw it out.
I looked at this race, it seems like, for 3 days. But yeah. I think I spent the most time looking at this race, and I kept on finding something wrong with every horse.
Yeah.
So I went back to things at work, and I ended up with the 6, Promises to Dance. I think he's going to be prominent early. I think he's the speed of the speed. And with the 2 outside speed horses, haven't ran since last spring. I think this horse could pull away from both of them and actually wire this field. Okay. He's second off the layoff here, and Brad Cox, and those connections, obviously are pretty good. And I did look back to Ohio, and I just didn't know what to do with that one.
Well, I like Ravelli is not going to send this horse if it's not ready to roll, and I think this horse has a little bit of talent. It's a 3-year-old filly that's going to be 4 in a couple of weeks. So it's running a lot of those state bred races, and it's won a lot of them. And I think this is a good test. I mean, this horse just is a winning machine, and it lost on turf. It's only other dirt loss. Its only dirt loss was by a neck. Actually, I got awarded first place for that too. So it's technically undefeated on dirt.
Well, that's
sprinting. So, I just think this is a great spot to try this big purse. It's been running in state bred stakes. This is a stake purse. And again, the field, it fits in here. We already talked about the 7, Lilu, whatever. We talked about that bad number. I just think it fits in here. The other one was Tom Swearingen with Chelsea Bailey. We haven't seen it in a long time, but it's got a good work tab. And it's run well here at Oaklawn. 4 wins and 7 starts. So I threw that one on my ticket.
Yeah, that's definitely one that comes ready to run. Loves the track. And,
did you have anything to add with number 2, Shandana?
I came on this is another one that runs, and it won 9 times, 7 back. Just knows how to win, and if the pace gets out there too much, this guy can definitely have a good stalking trip and win this. I think he's getting better as he grows, but I'm not excited. I'm not excited about this race. But I'm going to go with the 6 and that 10-1. To me, that looked most appealing. I think you can wire, and I think I can get a price. Other than that, I'm just not excited about this race at all.
Well, I went 4 deep in there, 2, 5, 6, 8. I got our top picks covered, and I think we'll be in good shape. This race here is going to be this is going to be exciting to watch. I'm very interested in this race. I'm actually singling Super Ocho on my pick 5, and I've got mixed feelings on it, but Super Ocho it might, I mean, for about 5 furlongs, there's probably not too many horses in North America as fast as this horse. Since coming from South America to North America, it hasn't run in a race this easy since the Mountaineer run in its North American debut a couple of years ago, where it won by like 10 lengths. It's run in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. It's run at the Gulfstream Park Sprints and other stakes. They ran it over in Dubai. This horse is super quick out of the gate, super fast early. Will have the lead 100%. And I'm actually anxious to see if there is a little bit of give in the ground, how it will react to that. I think it's going to be favorably. I think if you have an off track, I think front runners will normally do well, unless it's kind of like Glibby. This horse is going to have the lead, halfway down the stretch, and how big of a lead is it going to be? I think it's probably going to run a monster race here. Morning line isn't great for a horse that is 0 for 6 at the distance. But like I said, this is the easiest, race in North America since the Mountaineer run. And I think this horse is going to go gate to wire. And it's my single on my pick 6. My backup, just in case I get a scratch, will be Runaway Jack, just because it could maybe, it's the one that would be the most likely one to reel in my top pick.
Runaway Jack, but yeah, Ocho, Super Ocho looks very fast. So I landed on the 9 horse, Blue Light. And it just, he's got some inconsistency there, and when you look at it at first glance, but then if you take away the Churchill races, this guy just did not like Churchill. I mean, you take those races away, I don't think he's off the board.
Yeah, sprinting at like Keeneland, Fairgrounds, and Ellis, it's won 3 races with 1 second.
And then his numbers are that much better, just not at Churchill. So I'm looking at that.
Yeah, the Churchill runs were bad.
And I'm looking at the horse, the connections. I mean, there's no reason why this horse cannot win this race. 15-1 morning line. Don't know if I'll get it. That would be great. But this is my long play of the day. So
yeah, I think, looking at the race, Super Ocho will have the lead. That horse is going to be a little bit closer, I feel, than Runaway Jack. So you're going to get first run, if there is going to be a first run on my top pick, to try and, pass Super Ocho in the lane. And then if Super Ocho is, backing up, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he does, you're going to have to outkick Runaway Jack, who will then try to reel you in after you reel my top pick in, if that makes sense. So it'll be a fun race to watch, just because of all the dynamics of, hey, is Super Ocho going to be able to get 6 panels? What's Blue Light going to do? outside of Churchill, back to sprinting. Runaway Jack, second off the layoff. That was an impressive race. So, it's probably going to be one of those three, right? But I felt like I needed to make a stand with the horse that's going to be up by, in my opinion, 4 or 5 lengths at some point in this race.
Yeah, and if he doesn't fire, it'll really get interesting because there's a lot of nice horses in this race. And then I also have the 3 here, second off the layoff. He's only finished off the board, I think, 3 times. Just a real consistent horse.
Yeah, nice horse. Nice horse. Ran a lot of races at Hawthorne.
Scott Becker, good work at Oaklawn. So that was my alternate here.
Yeah. Again, look, yes, these are nice horses, but again, Super Ocho has not faced this easy of a field in a long time. That's my argument too. All right, well, hey, that's why we make our picks and we watch the races as they happen. The next race is this is the final leg of the pick 5. This is a 2-year-old race. It's a 20,000 maiden claiming event, and it's open company, so you have horses from everywhere. And I ended up on the 4 horse, Choctaw Grace. The 4 horse, I did have a trip note on this horse 2 back when it routed, and it basically was 4 to 5 wide throughout, made a strong middle move, and then flattened. So they did cut it back, although they cut it back to a race at Churchill going 7 panels in a restricted maiden special weight. It had a couple of next out winners, tough field. Now you take the plunge down to 20 and you're running a flat 6 panels. There's a barn switch here over to the, is that Ernie Witt? Witt? I can't remember the first name. Anyway, new trainer, Arietta in the irons. This horse is basically just getting the classic class relief. And I feel like it's just going to sit a good mid-pack trip and make a move. My backup pick is going to be the 5, Chip Storage, Steve Asmussen. This horse is probably going to be right there. It's probably going to be the morning line favorite. I just couldn't pull the trigger based on a 4.5 furlong run. And I'm just interested to see how it's going to do stretching out another 1.5 panels today. Where did you go? The 1 here?
Yeah, I'm going to play a little Russian roulette here with this 1. First time starter in the 1 hole.
Oh boy.
Which is
how
always
I feel about that.
I do not do, but I'm going to go with Timothy Martin does pretty well with 2-year-olds in 2-year-old races. And him and Zimmerman are 28%, 2022 and 23, 28% together, jockey trainer. Maybe they got some, something going on here. Now the horse itself, it's a $23,000 purchase by Always Dreaming. I'm just hoping he can get some type of trip from the inside and save some ground, and or actually just go. I really don't know what to expect, but he does have a couple of good works at Oaklawn. Okay. This year. I mean, they're not terrible. Nothing special, but they're not terrible. And then with this field, I just didn't see too much out of any of these horses. Even the Brad Cox runner, which I put at second.
Yeah, I see that.
Just because, the guy wins a lot of these types of races, and he's also really strong with 2-year-olds. So I just took those 2 that do well, with the younger horses, and I'm just gonna pray the 1 can do something for me.
Yeah,
the confidence on that is not very strong, but Heck, if it runs good, I might look like a genius. So we'll see what
No,
happens.
I got you. I mean, I think we're covered well here. If the Asmussen runner freaks, it's on my ticket. I've got some trip notes and some class relief on my 4, and then you got 2 bookend first-time starters, and the 1 in 12 holes with good connections, and so it makes sense. A lot of these other runners in here are much to be desired. I'd be shocked if something outside of our horses won the race, to be honest with you. And now I don't want to say that twice because you know what's going to happen.
I don't know. We've been shocked. I've been shocked almost
Yeah.
every race so far.
Yeah. On Friday's card, we were really shocked. Okay, so the next race is. So we talked about my brother Mike in the first race. Well, we got 2 horses running here in a maiden special weight, $115,000, 2-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs.
This one's going to be exciting.
This is going to, well, it's going to be exciting because, there's 2 2-year-olds in there that are named after our mom, namesake. And, Dad put these in against each other to see what they got. They have always trained well. Safecracker Sue and Catholic Sue have been both entered several times in different races. Turfway Park, Churchill. We run also eligible list at Churchill in a maiden special weight. And I want to say, I think this is the second time Safecracker Sue got the 1 hole, because I think she was entered at Turfway and got the 1 hole, and we scratched out of there because of that. She got the 1 hole again, and God, I just can't stand the 1 hole. So if she runs huge out of that post, I'll tip my cap. I'll be like, yes. But she's been training good. I also, I have Catholic Sue on top, and she hasn't been as relaxed as Safecracker Sue. They schooled both of these fillies in the paddock, I believe yesterday, and Catholic Sue is a little rambunctious, a little crazy in there. I don't know if they're going to saddle her outside or not. Safecracker Sue is more relaxed. I just like the post better. And, Jordan, is her first name Kaylee, the jockey?
Kylie
Jordan.
Kylie.
Yeah, she won a race today, and Chelsea Bailey won a race
She did
the other day, and so they're competent. This is a big circuit, and they're doing well and doing the best they can, and I like their grit. So these girls can ride, and this is a talented field of 2-year-old fillies, and we've always talked about how well these 2 have been training, at Belterra, at Turfway. You see a bullet on November 10th from Catholic Sue, and 48 and 1 out of 40. Even back at Belterra, breezing out of the gate, 2 out of 17. So I just like the post better, and I'm hoping she'll be on her best behavior in the post parade, and she won't run her race before the race is run, so to speak. My backup is going to be Midshipman's Dance, number 7, Sean Williams. I just, they spent a lot of money on this filly. She's working really great. She's drawn outside. She just makes a lot of sense to me. And I landed on her. I love midshipmans. They can run at anything. And, you could basically throw a dart here. So obviously you have different horses than I got because it's that type of race.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be spread out. So outside of the family horses, which I don't care about any of these horses in this race.
I know.
I know which ones I'm going to be screaming for.
Right.
But as a handicapping point of view here, so number 5, Ariana's Pearl.
Yep.
Looks pretty interesting to me. She's by Curlin. We all know who that is. And last out was routing. Now you're cutting back in distance, where she actually ran second. So I think this one could be capable of winning this race, and it's 12-1, which is also a nice price. Because when you're looking through here, I don't really like the favorites. I think any one of these, can win. I think the 5 is just as good as, the 9 and the 10.
Yeah, it's the race is very contentious. I want to note that your top selection also ran against Intricate, who won the Golden Rod by like a football field in a grade 2. So, it lost by 10 that day, but it split the field, and Intricate crushed. So,
I just don't see 12-1 on that on her.
No, that's actually a good pick with the company line there. So 12-1, I think people are going to see that. You have the trainer switch from Grand Motion, but it goes in the Mac Robertson barn. He's been a staple here at Oaklawn for a long time. Trains up in Minnesota and down here in Oaklawn.
And he's 21% with 2-year-olds as well. So
yeah, I like that pick. I want to note that Gallardo, I think, had a bad spill today, and he was taking off some of his mounts. So
you know what? Yeah, he was on I think the 6 horse in that race.
I think it was your alternate pick, wasn't it? I can't remember. I remember. I think you might have picked it. I have to go back.
Was he on Tonka Warrior?
Yeah, didn't you pick that one second?
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of day I was having. So my horses are falling down, not getting out of the gate. So,
but anyway, he was riding, and I don't know what his condition is, and I don't know if he's going to be riding or not. So you might want to keep an eye on that and see who jumps up. But as far as the horse goes, 100%. I like a lot about it. Ran good in its debut. Ran against it split a field against a really good field, and lost to a grade 2 winner. So.
Yeah, the jockeys now are not, there's no like one set jockey. No one's better than the other ones right now. They're all riding good. They're all winning.
Right. Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, the wins are spread out. The jockey like standings are kind of like 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's like there's nobody running away with it so far.
Nope.
Let me get this. By the way, let me get this pick 5 off of here, because we've already talked about that. Race 7 is the next race. It is a maiden special weight as well. Now these are for 3-year-olds. I want to say straight. No, this is 3-year-olds and up. And I landed on the 6. This is 6 furlongs. Excellent Men. And my notes on that horse were second time blinkers, and it was a speed fade angle. And I like second time blinkers. Horses run really well second time with blinkers, and they also run well with them, especially if they did a speed fade. They're gonna usually come back and carry their speed a little further, especially if they need a little bit of conditioning. That was its second race off of a layoff. It did stretch out half a panel and ran a little bit quicker, but I think this horse is going to be prominent and should run its best race. David Jacobson's going to be heard from at this meet, and that's my top pick. My second pick will be Mr. Keating, and I'm just going to use Texas Mike's line, the horses from Kentucky are doing really good at Oaklawn. And they sprinted this horse. They routed it. Now they're cutting it back. It's run some really strong races. It's 5-2. Strong work tab. You know, it's going to have to fire off the shelf. I didn't want to put it on top just because of the price, that I think it's going to run a pretty good race here. You landed on the 8.
Yeah, Wicked again. Asmussen again. So this horse has the field's best buyer figure, and he actually did it twice. I mean, if you could even improve that a little bit, I think he's the one to beat. See, and then my second one, Raging. Oh, Brad Cox is runner to 3. Very well bred horse. First time starter, and he's gonna pop one of these sooner or later.
Oh yeah,
because you got to keep that percentage up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious. I can't take him in this one on top, just due to the fact that I think there's other horses here that are pretty strong and that have some actual experience. I think that's going to go a long way. But the Asmussen Gun Runner, I think, is going to be one tough cookie here.
I agree with that. You know, I didn't see a crazy page on the horse, but did have a nice bullet at Turfway. You know, they spent a nice penny on it. It's Brad Cox, like you said. We'll see. I mean, yeah, I like it.
And I do like your selection with the 6. I was looking at that horse long and hard.
Yeah, I mean, second time blinker, speed fade. That's my angle. Now, I'm not a big fan of the New York horses ever. I just think those numbers are always way off. And Laurel is just whatever. But I just like that race it's coming out of, and I think it's sitting on a good one here. The winner of that last race too, Savings Rate, got an 82 buyer speed figure in its debut. So that's a nice animal. It's a Speightstown of Cowboy Calmer. And it's trained by Chad Brown. So nice animal that it lost to in debut. And, you know, that one might be a stakes winner down the line. So even though it's not now. So I think that was a stronger race than what people might think. Race 8. It's a optional claiming 50,000, non-winners of 2. This is another $142,000 pot. And I ended up on the 8 here. And my notes were back to dirt. And, you know, this horse can run on anything. And it is Steve Asmussen. And, you know, it pressed a pretty quick pace on dirt last time. And it just folded. But, you know, they went 21-3, 44-4 that day at Remington in a stake. And, you know, it might be a need to lead type.
Which I think is good to get.
But that's what I was about to say. It's like, who's going to get this horse should have the front. And it has showed that it could rate too. You know, 5 furlongs. There was a race there where it rated and won. But at this 6 furlong trip, you don't want to do what happened in that Remington Park stake. You don't want to go 21-2 and 44 and change. I mean, in a speed duel and not have the front. But I think it's going to have the lead, and I think it's going to be able to carry that speed all the way to the wire.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Landing on this one as well. He's ran at Oaklawn before.
Yeah, he's got to win in a second.
Really not much more to say about him, but it's just get him out of the gate and go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think 4-1. Yeah, hey, I'll take that. I'll take 4-1. It's a $10 horse, and I'd be ecstatic with that payout. My backup was Nautical Star, Chris Hartman. You know, I threw it on there just in case, you know, something crazy was going on with the weather, and this thing ran 2 really good races on slop, and one of them was in a grade 2, so at Parks. So if it rains really heavy, maybe I'll flip flop my picks. I still probably won't, but maybe I'll just hammer the 8-4 exacta at that point.
Yeah, I came in with the 9 underneath. Dwayne Lucas has this horse. Hasn't ran in a while.
It's freshly gelded.
Yeah, got his nuts chopped off, and doesn't have some bad numbers back there. So, you know, maybe the change of scenery, old Dwayne can, you know, work some magic and see what happens here.
Yeah. Okay. Duly noted on that. It wouldn't be a surprise. That's for sure. But let's just hope that our top pick does what we think it's going to do.
You know,
Race 9. You had something else to add?
No. Let's go.
All right, race 9. Race
like
9 is going to be a doozy, man. It's a stake race. What is the name of this? Is this a new stake that Oaklawn came out with? I don't even know the name of the stake.
Tinsel something. Tinsel. I think it's been around for a couple of years.
For some reason, I don't remember this race.
I think
but it's a $200,000 stake going 9 furlongs, a mile and an eighth. And I have a horse that maybe I'm getting ambitious here, okay? But I got number 6 Ardenwood at 12-1, freshened up. But man, this thing has been just training so good right now, specifically probably for this race. And it's Mac Robertson, so a lot of respect for the guy. I would think that he would probably be thinking, hey, maybe allowance or something for this horse, but it's doing so good. He's like, man, I gotta put this thing in a stake race. And it's never won at it's never tried 9 furlongs, but I think it's going to be really, it's going to have the lead, and I think it's going to relax and be able to get the distance. It's out of a Medaglia d'Oro on the bottom, and he can run all day. I was looking at one of the siblings here. A couple of them won at 2 turns, a mile and a 16th. Tried 9 furlongs, didn't win, but somewhat competitive. I'm hoping I just get the lead, Marco, with this horse and just keep going. And you know, it is a tough field, but I just think that it's going to keep going. Now, the final thing again is the question mark with the weather. And it's 3 for 3 on a wet track. So if we do get a wet track, a muddy track, whatever it is, wet fast, sloppy, this horse has run on and off track and has won every time. Once on a good, twice on wet fast. So I don't think we're going to get sloppy tomorrow, but we might get that wet fast scenario. I mean, it
all depends on how wrong the weatherman is.
Yeah.
So
what happens with Ardenwood at 12-1, and my backup sees the night just because it's won at this distance. Probably a board hit candidate, kind of like a safe play. I don't know. Could it win? Yeah. It just wasn't exciting enough for me, and 9-2 was a little bit too low of a price for me to really want to pick it on top. So always go with the speed. You like the 1.
Yeah, I landed on the 1 because I just don't trust any of these other horses to really hang on. I think like Strong Quality is going to try to, be up there. Speed Bias, that horse has 5 seconds. It just doesn't win. And then your horse is another fast one. There's another one maybe, but I think they're all going to be out there, and I didn't really know which one was going to get the lead. And I hope they all fight for it. And I think War Campaign can actually set up a trip here. It's all about the trip. If you don't get the trip, I don't think he's going to win. But he's got a bullet coming in from Keeneland. I just think if he can work out a trip, have these other guys just go, mess up the pace a little bit, and he's on the inside and he's going to run a shorter distance. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, it looks pretty obvious that way. I might be on a suicide mission here. Maybe I'm the speed of the speed, because Speed Bias is quick, and Strong Quality has a lot of ones on those lines. I know it doesn't always finish, but a lot of times it does. So yeah, you're probably right. I
couldn't figure out which one would want to hang on, and so I'm just going to come up. I'm just hoping it's one of those races where you're just kind of looking at them coming down. They're 3 in a line, and then right there's War Campaign sneaking up the rail. That's just kind of what I'm envisioning.
Okay, that makes sense. And you're probably. I mean, I looked at that too, at that scenario, and it makes all the sense in the world. And 4-1's a good price, and that horse is training well too. Those 2 works at Keeneland coming in are really, really strong, and actually all of them. I'm just hoping I'm the speed of the speed, and I just freak. I mean, this horse is feeling really good. The string of the work tab for this horse at Oaklawn since its last race in September for Ardenwood are just blazing. Just this horse is skipping around the track in the morning. It's probably going to run the race of its life and be the speed of the speed, and we might have a good 1-6, maybe a 1-3-6 exact $20 exacta box or something. I don't know, or a trifecta, big trifecta. I have to think about how I want to play this race, and I'm gonna be paying attention to the weather as well. Okay, the last race is what kind of race is this? Optional claiming 25, state bred, $140,000 pot. Yeah, these are Archie breds running for $140,000.
That's why I'm breeding Archie breds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way to go.
I landed on the 7 here, and you did as well. And, I think my notes on this was recency, fast dirt, cuts back. And a lot of these horses we haven't seen in a long time. Most of the field hasn't been seen in months and months, and sometimes a year. The 3 did run in November, but it was a lackluster race. But the 7, it's been running against some open company at Remington and some allowance races. It won an A other than at Lone Star on turf, but it does have a 3rd and a non-winners of 2 at Remington. Those are tough races, and now you're back with your own kind, and I just feel like, the cutback and the recency bias, and the fact that the reason why I liked it might get fast dirt later in the day. Again, I don't know what the weather's going to do. It might be a little off in the morning, faster later. Last time it ran at Oaklawn, Marco, it won by 16 lengths against state breds. So that was my reasoning behind the 7.
Yeah, and these Remington races actually, they're not that bad. They're pretty tough races, considering some of them, they're not really racing against, I don't think, the better competition. Some of them, have, but, then they might only have a couple races under their belt total.
Right.
So I landed on the 7 as well for pretty much the same reasons. And Danny Pish, I know who that is, and you got Louis Quinones.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, Louis Quinones gets a bad rap from
He
some
can
of
do
our
it.
inner circle down there.
Oh, I know. There's certain people.
A
Who
couple
just,
of guys in particular, one guy in particular, just won't bet him. Hey, I hope he gets the job done here. I think the horse might be live. 8-1's a good price, so I like that. My backup was Sassy Lass, Burl McBride, and this is one of the nicest horses probably in his barn. And Chelsea Bailey's on it. It's 5-1 morning line, and McBride, nice guy, but usually he's got 15, 20, 25 to 1 shots,
Yeah.
And in the morning line, at least, is usually not kind to his runners.
This horse has to be pretty good.
So this horse to be 5-1, and if you look, it's a stakes winner. It won no, it's not a stakes winner. It's a $110,000 pot. It won a maiden special weight here. It ran second in this condition last year. It ran in the Rainbow Miss. It ran 5th, but it only lost by 3 lengths. But it's not a bad little Arkansas filly. And Chelsea Bailey has been on this filly every single time, 6 starts. So I threw it on there. Your backup was the 12.
Yeah, Fly Like the Wind. Calhoun Torres. Torres is the leading jockey last season, and I think he just got back on track today. I think he won a race or two.
Yeah, I did see him win a race. Yeah,
this horse is pretty consistent last couple races. You know what he's going to do, and he's going to go out to the lead and just try to wire it, I think. 3 61s in a row, not bad outings. He broke his maiden, came in second allowance, and then 4th in the Rainbow Miss. And I like that race, the Rainbow Miss. There are a lot of nice fillies have come in and ran good in that race, and some past winners became some pretty nice horses for the state bred level. Okay. Yeah, the 7 and then the 12.
Very good, Marco. Well, we landed on 3 horses today that were the same, and close it out with the nightcap with the 7. That's an 8-1 shot. Hopefully we'll hit that. And I'll post our long shot plays real quick. I like Ardenwood today at 12-1, and I'm hoping I'm the speed of the speed, and I can hold off your closer in the 1 hole. And I just think that this horse is feeling way too good to ignore, even though there is a lot of speed in the race. I do acknowledge that. I just feel like he'll be the fastest early. And Marco, you like Blue Light is your bomb. You mentioned that horse ran poorly at Churchill, but all the other sprints at other tracks, it's done really well. So you're going to get first run on Super Ocho in that race, and we'll see if you're close enough to reel me in.
We will see. Yeah, I'm going to get back on track here. So I'm going to have Asmussen a lot here. I think he's got a good stock this year. I believe he wants the trainer title back at Oaklawn. So with that, we'll see you at the races.
Duly noted. And as we like to say, Marco, let's cash some tickets.
I'm ready for it. I'm overdue and ready. Let's do it.
All right. We'll see you guys for Sunday's card. Enjoy.